Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my newest patron, Alodin. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. There were some ridiculous reports out there today like this one. Tesla could look to acquire specific brands from Western car makers to diversify and expand its offering. In light of Tesla's current struggles to renew its portfolio and focus on other segments like robotaxis, acquisitions could be in the cards. This from Alpha Value's Adrian Brazy. I hate to break it to you, Adrian, but that's not going to happen. Part of the problem here, looking at Adrian's LinkedIn, he covers companies like VW, BMW, Mercedes, and Stellantis, really focusing on European equities. He doesn't actually cover Tesla at all, which we know from his take. I mean, could you imagine Tesla trying to acquire the Mach-E brand or the Cadillac Lyriq brand? It's just insanity and would add zero value to what Tesla is doing. I trust that I don't need to explain this any further, so let's move on. In my quest to find FSD 13 doing something wrong, we may have that here, as Spencer on X shared that it ran a red light. So just watch closely, but note that the road he's turning from is indeed a two-way road. That will be important, as you'll see shortly. If you watch it back from here, it's almost like the car is reacting to the walking sign. Spencer did clarify he stepped on the brake, so had he not done that, FSD 13 would have gone through. Spencer is in Texas, and the Texas traffic code says if you're at a steady red light, you can turn left, but only if the intersecting streets are both one-way streets and a left turn is permissible. So, given this intersecting street was not a one-way street, this move would have been illegal. But as far as I can tell, in other places, it is actually allowed to turn left at a red light if it's going onto a one-way street, even if the intersecting street is bidirectional. Obviously not dangerous, I just thought that situation was interesting. Jordan Kamina uploaded about a 25-minute video stress testing version 13 in New York City, and there were multiple highlights, so I'll just show you a few.
Let's see if it notices this no turn on red arrow. Okay, it's doing it. Previous versions did not abide by these right. Okay, it should go right now. Is the pedestrian going to stop? It does. It creeps up nicely. It's going to wait for this guy to exit the street. And it's going to go perfectly. Wow. Such a drastic improvement. I can't believe it's doing this. Okay. Looping around. These people are going to run across the street. Should go right after this girl with the bag. It does. Goes nice and slow over the speed bumps. Wow. Let's see what it does here with this thing in the middle. You should probably cut behind it. What it's doing is probably what I would do too. Okay. Gonna go after this guy. Ooh, it doesn't think it can squeeze. It made it nice and smooth though.
In 500 feet, turn right onto Irving Place.
Ooh, this is so complicated. Oh, it's gotta go quick. Oh, it's gonna get caught in the middle. Okay, that's fine. That's how you do that. Wow, this is interesting. There's a lot of red lights. There's the bike, there's the left, there's another left, there's the straight. I'm curious, and there's another bike one over there. I'm curious to see if it gets hung up or if it's just gonna read the left turn arrow. So the bike is green, should not go. Good. Now is it going up? The other one is green. It's not even seeing that, which I guess is good. It should go as soon as the left turn arrow goes green, which I assume will be after the bike and the walk. Okay, the bike is yellow. It should go right now. Oh, and this is so cool. The previous versions just definitely mess this up every single time. Amazing. Ooh, it is pulling in front of it. Is it just gonna pull over? Oh, it is. It is pulling over. Is it gonna pull all the way up? It's just a robotaxi. I would say the car is performing pretty good, if you had to ask me. This is a very difficult driving environment in a very, very weird area. right as I say that, it's doing this weird thing, or it's deciding to camp behind this cab. Oh, look at that. It's giving these people space to back into the spot. This is insane. I thought I was doing the wrong thing, but it's just letting this guy, oh boy, he's a terrible parallel parker, this guy. Okay, moved up a little bit. I stand corrected. Oh my gosh, that's insane. This is crazy. Every time I think it's gonna do something wrong, it sees something that I didn't yet see.
I mean, okay, I watched this clip back so many times to try to figure it out. There was really no indication that this red car was trying to parallel park. Maybe this was just a coincidence and it happened to work out this way, but I'd be very curious what you guys think happened in this scenario. Many of you know, as of late, I really have been trying to be critical of FSD to highlight the things it's still not doing well, because that really is the minority, but with version 13, I'll admit this is the hardest it's ever been. My wife and I have some friends in New York City, and the last time we were there, she didn't even like being a passenger on those streets, so there's no way she'd ever want to drive. But with FSD 13 and future releases, that may no longer be a concern. The way I see it, the freedom that FSD and autonomy are going to unlock is still overlooked. Robo Sleigh Driver shared a video of FSD sitting still at a green light as this ambulance came through. Ashok ended up sharing that, saying even better handling, including audio inputs coming in FSD 13.4. You can see in the video the light turns green now, and the car stays still, lets the ambulance go through. Naturally, people are wondering if Tesla will skip 13.3, and there's a chance, but this statement from Ashok does not guarantee that. It just may be that this specific feature isn't coming until 13.4. As we talked about a few weeks back, Megapacks and Tesla's auto bidder will power France's largest battery. When you have the largest of anything in one country, it's likely to get some attention, so in this case, Tesla, auto bidder, and Megapack should be in the headlines. Many other companies in the region will be looking at this project to see if it's a success, and based on all of the data we have, it should be an absolute yes. From Wood Mackenzie, the United States deployed 9.9 gigawatt hours of energy storage in Q3. That number's up 60% year over year. Over 90% of those deployments were in the grid scale segment, with residential around 9% and commercial and industrial 1%. On the grid scale side, 93% was in Texas and California. On the residential side, the three biggest states, California, Arizona, and North Carolina. Across all segments, 2024 is expected to see a total of 34.4 gigawatt hours deployed, up 26% year over year. Importantly, for now, the word is that a full repeal of the investment tax credit for energy storage is not expected, but some of those adders and riders may be at risk. A fun fact, we had 9.9 gigawatt hours deployed across all of the United States in Q3. Tesla alone in Q3 deployed 6.9 gigawatt hours. Of course, Tesla deployed its figure globally, but just a little bit of context for that US number. And in what's certainly a beat the shot clock type of scenario, the Department of Energy has offered a conditional commitment of a loan up to $15 billion for California's PG&E. The money would be for PG&E's Project Polaris, which includes things like expanding hydropower generation and battery storage, upgrading transmission capacity, and enabling virtual power plants. But this is a beat the buzzer scenario because Trump has already come out and said that he's going to clamp down on the Department of Energy and Loan Program Office funding. So they're trying to get the money out there as soon as possible. And Neoen, who has worked very closely with Tesla the past few years, just got $890 million in capital to fund energy storage and renewable energy generation projects in Australia. They confirmed part of that money will go to the Collie Battery Stage 2, which Tesla is involved in, supposed to be completed in 2025. And the Western Downs battery, which will use Tesla Megapacks, will also receive some of that funding for continued development. It's understandable all anybody wants to talk about is FSD, maybe a bit of optimist, just don't forget about Tesla Energy. Roland shared a chart showing year-to-date data for different countries across the EU and whether Tesla sales are up or down in that time frame. Given the chart is shown in units and not percentages, naturally you're going to have the bigger countries in terms of unit volume toward the polls. But January through November, comparing this year to 2023, Germany is down 26,000 units, France is down 18.5 thousand, and Denmark down 4.6 thousand. On the positive side, the Netherlands is up 7.1 thousand, Belgium up 5,000, and Spain up 2,000. If you do the math for all of the countries listed on this chart, Tesla is down about 44,000 units year over year. The Peterson Automotive Museum put out a quick video of Franz and the Cybercab, and here are a few new things that we learned. Franz said the gold color of the Cybercab actually reflects a future version of the idea of the New York City yellow cab. So Tesla took that iconic yellow and then created something more expressive and more up to date. When it comes to the wheels, Tesla wanted them to disappear and become part of the overall design of the car, which is why they extended the color onto the tire itself. Franz said it makes it so the car seems like it's hovering and floating. Franz did reiterate that anybody will be able to own, purchase, or lease the Cybercab, but he confirmed it will never have a steering wheel. I'll really never understand why people are still arguing it might have a wheel eventually. The Tesla team has made it abundantly clear it's never going to. And if you want to check it out, the Cybercab will be at the Peterson Museum until the beginning of January. One thing to note, Franz did refer to the Cybercab doors as dihedral. Ordinarily, that refers to a hinge mechanism that allows the doors to rotate 90 degrees by sweeping outwards and upwards simultaneously. Tesla Asia shared Tesla achieved first place in 4 rankings in the latest 2024 China NEV Industry Customer Satisfaction Index. For pure electric mid-size cars, the Model 3 and NIO's ET5T both tied with a score of 80. For mid-size SUVs, the Model Y came in first solo with a score of 81, followed by Xiaopeng's G6 and the Wenji M5, both with scores of 80. So the Model 3 and Y are ranked number 1 in their respective categories for overall owner satisfaction, and Tesla ranks number 1 in customer satisfaction with sales and service. Tesla shared a new video showing how the Apple Watch will work, and it's much better than mine from last week, so here you go. Tesla's plant manager at Giga Shanghai, Song Gang, has left the company. He's been the manager at Giga Shanghai since 2018. He said, "Today is my last day at Tesla and I feel extremely fortunate to have worked and fought with everyone on this plot of land." Fei Wenjin, who was recently promoted to senior director from director of quality, will take over Song's responsibilities for now. Song was among a group of Tesla Shanghai executives that traveled to Fremont and Giga Texas in 2022 to help troubleshoot production issues. Song was also the first employee of Tesla's first factory outside of the US, which obviously was Giga Shanghai. Song, who was VP of manufacturing, also spent time working for Tesla in the States, where he was involved in factory construction and business planning of potential facilities. After that, he returned to Shanghai, where he helped set up Tesla's Megapack factory. As of now, there's no reason given and there's nothing new yet on his LinkedIn page. You may have seen that Tesla has launched Actually Smart Summon across China, and now it's also available in South Korea as well. Alex Guichet, who works on the mobile app and design at Tesla, said that Tesla Recharged is out for Powerwall and solar owners, releasing with app 4.40.0 over the next few days. You can think of it like a Spotify Rewind in that it shows you all of your data and usage and savings throughout the year. Tesla Energy shared a video highlighting some of Tesla's stats for solar and Powerwall users throughout the year, highlighting those products saved customers over $800 million on utility bills. It's been pretty quiet lately for anything related to Project Juniper, and good luck finding anything from this screen grab, but just know it is out there and being tested. The most recent sighting was in San Jose, California. One major thing I don't really see many people talking about is what all of these companies are going to do that have announced hundreds of billions of dollars of investments in the United States specifically to take advantage of the Inflation Reduction Act. Of course, not all of that is going to be repealed, but there are going to be significant changes. By the numbers, companies have announced $312 billion in planned investments in the US. That number is up from $75 billion when Biden took office in 2021. Half of that number, about $133 billion, is slated for battery manufacturing and recycling. Hopefully a majority of that is safe. But about $70 billion of that is allocated for EV manufacturing. Most of that, again, was to take advantage of EV tax credits that may now be going away. And $21 billion is directed towards facilities producing components further down the supply chain, like EV parts and critical minerals. Again, hopefully a majority of that is in the clear. And of course, to lock down that $70 billion and to turn that into real economic value in real projects, there needed to be some stability with the Inflation Reduction Act, and we really have the opposite of that. If the EV tax credits do end up getting repealed, I'm going to be expecting either factory cancellations or a repurposing of these factories for hybrids or some other technology. These other auto companies are already hemorrhaging money on their full EV business, so without the EV tax credit, I can't see these factories continuing to make sense. Waymo shared its year in review, and most of it was already things we've covered earlier this year, but they did say they have served over 4 million fully autonomous rides this year alone, bringing their total to over 5 million rides total. As I've been saying, it's been a great year of growth for Waymo. It's just scaling to the masses. Still, there's no viable path. Waymo said the most popular destinations in each city this year were Sky Harbor International Airport in Phoenix, the Ferry Building in San Francisco, and the Grove Shopping Center in LA. And we've already highlighted their expansion plans, but they did say that their average trip length was 4.1 miles. Stellantis is delaying Ram's first electric pickup until 2026, citing slowing industry demand. Instead, they're going to focus on their electrification efforts with the extended range 1500 Ram Charger, the vehicle that uses a gasoline engine as a generator. The fully electric Ram truck was set to debut in early 2025, but that's been delayed at least 1 year. On the Ram Charger, they said it's driven by overwhelming consumer interest, maintaining a competitive advantage in the tech, and slowing industry demand for half-ton BEV pickups. This will definitely be a thread to watch, and this is where Tesla has a new rival or enemy of sorts. Some US producers of graphite have initiated a trade action seeking sharp tariff increases on Chinese graphite. They're arguing Beijing's massive state subsidies are artificially lowering prices and making it impossible for them to compete. This industry group wants punitive tariffs as high as 920% on Chinese graphite. Right now, the number's at 25%. Some analysts are arguing if the tariffs went that high, it could double the cost of an EV battery cell, given that right now, graphite costs make up about 10% of the cell. As we touched on earlier this year, in the US, it costs at least 20% more to make a battery cell than doing so in China. A very important point here though, during Trump's first administration, Tesla actually successfully lobbied for exemptions from these graphite tariffs. At the time, Tesla said there is no single manufacturer outside of China that currently meets Tesla's specs and additional capacity requirements. As Tesla has been unable to resource all of its artificial graphite, Tesla respectfully requests the exclusion be further extended at least through the end of 2025. And Tesla tested artificial graphite from other suppliers as potential substitutes, but the majority of suppliers were still at pilot scale or were still planning to build the mass production capacity and can't supply to Tesla in the 2024-2025 timeframe. Back to today, decisions on whether to impose the tariffs would only happen after investigations that won't conclude until well into 2025. One of the only companies in the United States working on making graphite is Novonix, and they're looking to do so in Tennessee. This is all interesting timing because just earlier this week, the Loan Program Office announced a conditional commitment for a direct loan up to $754 million to Novonix to finance construction of a new facility in Chattanooga, Tennessee to make synthetic graphite. So in a sense, you could look at at this like it's Novonix versus Tesla. Which side will the government take? Of course, first of all, we have to see if these tariffs even come to fruition, but if they do, will Tesla get an exemption as the major player? It's kind of a catch-22. Of course, we want more domestic production, but we're not going to get it unless companies start going to those companies to buy it, bypassing the cheaper option from China. Bear in mind, China controlled about 92% of the market for high-grade graphite used in battery production in 2023, and the US imported about 42% of its graphite supply from China. Not only that, but China handled over 90% of the graphite processing around the world. So yeah, it's certainly going to be one to watch. We finally get an announcement about a new Tesla Semi customer, as Saya LTL Freight has announced a partnership with Tesla to add 2 Tesla Semis to its fleet. They said, "Our partnership with Tesla underscores our dedication to evolution while staying true to the values that have guided us for the past century. We were very impressed with the Tesla Semi as it demonstrated an ability to handle both local and longer haul applications while still delivering notable power and efficiency. During a demonstration earlier this year, we achieved 1.73 kilowatt hours per mile. Our drivers were equally impressed, noting the smooth acceleration, comfortable design, and its ability to maintain speeds on steep inclines, even while hauling heavy payloads. This feedback underscores the enormous potential of the Tesla Semi." If you're not familiar, LTL means less than truckload. So these are basically services where different companies can actually share one of the semis for a trip, meaning the portion that each company actually needs would not take up the entire capacity of the truck. So basically, freight from different shippers is consolidated at terminals and then ultimately transported to their final destinations. Saya actually ranked 9th among LTL carriers in the United States in 2023 when they reported revenues of $2.8 billion. So 2 is obviously a small order. Sounds like they're still testing the fully electric waters. Tesla and the markets had a rough day today, as the Fed basically told us that they're expecting fewer rate cuts going forward. On that news, Tesla stock ended the day at $440.13, down 8.28%, while the Nasdaq was down 3.56%. But if you look at the wicks for Tesla today, it was a very volatile day. It wicked down to $427 at one point, and it was also up as high as about $488. So definitely one of the most volatile days dating back the past few months. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video. If you did, you can find me on X, linked below, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.